Hello children, school families, and friends. In today's playtime video, I wanted to think really hard about what it means to pretend to be a bug. What does it mean to be a bug anyways? I know that bugs are usually a lot smaller than people, but are all bugs really the same? Do bugs eat the same food? Do they use the same part of their body to move around? It seems like there are probably lots of different ways that you could pretend to be a bug, depending on which bug you want it to be. And if I want to pretend to be a bug, I need to think really hard about what makes that bug special and unique and different from other bugs. So in today's video, I'm going to try to pretend to be 4 different kinds of bugs. I'm going to do some research, just like in my entomologist video, where I learn about the bugs and use my research to tell me how I can pretend to be the different kinds of insects. What I find interesting about insects is that every single kind of insect is very different. They have different shapes to make up their body and different sizes as well. Take a look at the fly. We know that the fly gets around by using its wings to fly through the air. But an ant doesn't have any wings. But we know something else about the ant. We know that the ant makes ant hills, because in the last video I made, I talked about how you could pretend to be an ant and make an ant hill. And this one is called the praying mantis, and you can see how much bigger it is than the other bugs. It has a very long green body that is very good at hiding in the leaves. So even though each one of these insects are different, I still know some things about each one that I could use to pretend to be a different kind of bug. But I want to know a little bit more about bugs. I don't know what flies eat, for example. Is it the same thing that praying mantises eat? And the same thing that the ant eats as well? I can use research to help me learn about the different kinds of bugs, and use that to tell me how I can play a really fun bug game. So what is research, and how do we do it? Research is when you learn something new by using something that somebody else has already made, whether that be a book, or a video, or something that you can read on a computer. And when you do research, you've learned something new that you can add to all of the other stuff that you know, because we've been learning so many cool things about bugs during our bug camp. You could even ask other people in your family to see if they know anything about bugs that they could tell you. That would be another great way to do research. But I'm going to show you a little bit of a different way. I'm going to use these to do research. These are websites that I printed out from a computer, and on them they have words about bugs and the picture of the bugs that they are talking about. So I'm going to use some of this research to learn some new things about bugs. I'm going to write down what I learned in my bug journal, just like when I did that pretend stink bug PU research. And then I'm going to take what I learned to my backyard, where I'm going to pretend to be the different kinds of bugs. Okay, I'm ready to do the research now on my first bug. And when I do research, I don't just want to learn something new, I want to think about what I already know about each of the different kinds of bugs, and use that in my games too. So first I'm going to think about what I already know about the bug, and then I'm going to read from the different websites so I can learn something new. And I'm going to send all the families links to this website, and you can actually use it to look up lots of different kinds of bugs, not just the suggestions that I give in this video. So the first bug I'm going to talk about is the beetle. I'll put a picture of the beetle right here. So one thing that I already know about beetles is that they have those big mandible claw-like things in the front of their mouth, just like this. And I think they use that to pick up different things and different food. But what kind of food does the beetle eat? I don't think I know. Maybe it'll tell us inside of our research. Let me read now. One of the world's largest beetles, the Hercules beetle, lives in rainforests in Central and South America, where it feeds on rotting fruit. And adults can be up to 19 centimeters long. That's pretty big. That's about this big. That would be a pretty big beetle. So now I'm going to write down both what I already knew about beetles and what I learned inside of my bug journal. Okay, so on my new piece of paper, I'm going to draw a line in the middle. And on the top, I'm going to draw what I already knew about beetles. And on the bottom, I'm going to draw what I learned about beetles. So what I already knew about beetles was they had those claw things on the front, those mandibles. So I'm going to draw two lines like this, because I think they kind of look like the claws of the beetle. Just like that. And then if you wanted to, you could write words with your drawing too. So I'll write the word claw, because that's what that reminds me of in the front. Kind of like a crab. But this is at the front, in front of the mouth. And then on the bottom, I want to draw what I learned. So I'm going to draw some blueberries by putting some blue circles right there, because blueberries are a kind of fruit. And in my research, it said that beetles like to eat fruit. There we go. Draw some circles like that. And then I'll write the word fruit. Fruit. So now, when I play my game and pretend to be a beetle, I'm going to need to find something I can use for the claw, and I'm going to need to play a game where I'm looking for fruit to eat. Alright, I could take my bug journal and what I wrote down about the beetle to my backyard and get started playing right away. But I think it would be a good idea to be really prepared before I play my game. So I want to do all my research first, and then I'll go and pretend the way that I want to. And that will help me play really smoothly and help my play last longer too. So the next animal that I want to research is the dragonfly. And I really like this insect because it's got the word dragon in its name. And what I already know about dragonflies is that they can fly really super fast. Their wings flap really fast and they zip through the air. But I want to learn something new about dragonflies. I wonder if they eat fruit just like the beetle. I'm going to read this website so that I can learn something new in my research. The emperor dragonfly, that's a cool name. The emperor dragonfly is one of the biggest and fastest of the dragonflies. It can swoop and dive through the air at speeds of up to 24 miles per hour. That's way faster than we can run. Adults catch and eat their prey, including butterflies and other insects in the air. So dragonflies actually eat other insects and catch them while they're flying around in the air. That's interesting, because beetles eat fruit and dragonflies eat other insects. It says they live near fresh water, such as by streams. So they like to live by the water too. So I'm going to take that information about the dragonfly eating other insects and add that to my journal, along with the fact that dragonflies can fly really, really fast, which I already knew. Okay, I'm going to open to a new page in the bug journal. And then just like before, I'm going to draw a line in the middle. And on this part up here, I'm going to draw what I already knew. And down here, I'll draw what I learned in the research. So I already knew that dragonflies could fly really, really fast. So I'm going to draw a picture of a dragonfly by using an oval shape like this, and then the dragonfly had wings that kind of look like the letter B, one this way and one that way. And I'm going to draw a circle around the wings, because that's what I already knew, that the dragonfly could fly. And I'll write the word fly right here, just to help me remember. You can draw or write whatever words you want inside of here. You get to decide because it's your bug journal. And then what I learned about dragonflies is that they eat other insects. So I'm going to draw a picture of another insect. Insects have 6 legs, so maybe this could be like a little ant that the dragonfly wants to eat. So I'll draw a little ant here by just drawing a circle, and then 3 legs on one side, 3 legs on the other side, and then I'll write the word eat. And that will help me that the dragonfly eats other insects. So using this bug journal, I'll remember what I learned in the research, and I'll use that to help me play in my backyard. Just writing the word dragonfly up here, so I know that this is about the dragonfly. I'm really enjoying learning things about bugs by doing research. Let's keep going to my 3rd bug that I want to learn about. I want to learn about the cricket. Here's a picture of a cricket right here, and what I already know about crickets is that they make a chirping sound. Chirp, 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 chirp. It's a sound that's hard for a person to make. I'll play a sound of a cricket chirping right now. Now I'll read what it says from the website. It says, grasshoppers, crickets, and their relatives make up more than 24,000 species. There are lots of different kinds of crickets and grasshoppers. Most have long, powerful hind legs for jumping, as well as working wings, although many will prefer to jump away from danger instead of flying. That's interesting because I expected that grasshoppers would use their wings to fly around, but actually it says they use their legs to jump. So that is something I learned that I didn't know before I did my research. So now I'm going to add that to my bug journal so I can use that in my pretend grasshopper game that I'll play later. Okay, let's go to another new page in the bug journal so that we can draw what we learned about crickets. I'm just writing the word cricket on this page. There we go. And then just like before, I'm going to divide it in half right down the middle. And on top, I'll draw what I already knew, and on the bottom, I'll draw what I learned in the research. So what I already knew about grasshoppers is that they make loud chirping noises. Now, it's kind of hard to draw a noise. So I'm going to draw a picture of an ear to help me remember that it's a noise, just like that. I'm going to draw an ear. It kind of looks like the letter C, just like that. And that's my ear shape right here. And I'll write the sound, or I'll write the word chirp right under it. I think I'll finish off the rest of the head too, because it kind of didn't look like an ear. Just like that. I'll draw a happy face. There we go. And I'll circle the ear to help me remember, just like that. You can draw that however way you want. That's the fun thing about this bug journal. And then at the bottom, what I learned was that grasshoppers hop around instead of fly around. So for hopping, I'm going to draw a picture of an arrow that's pointed up. Because when you hop, you go up into the air. Okay, I'm almost ready to go into my backyard and pretend to be all those bugs that we're researching. I just have one more bug that I want to research, and that is the ladybug. Here's a picture of a ladybug right here. You can tell it's a ladybug because of the red back with those black dots on it. In fact, that's what I already knew about ladybugs, that you know that they're ladybugs when they are red with black dots like that. Now I'm going to read from the website to see if I can learn something new about ladybugs too. Let's see, ladybugs are brightly colored, oval-shaped beetles. Interesting, ladybugs are a kind of beetle. And during the winter months, many kinds of ladybirds or ladybugs crawl into cracks or under rocks or dead leaves and hibernate. Interesting. So when it's wintertime, when it's cold, the ladybugs like to hibernate or go to sleep, just like a bear would hibernate in the winter. So that's something I didn't know about ladybugs, and I think I'll add that to my bug journal and use that in my pretend game. Okay, back to the bug journal. I'm going to go to a new page for one last time. And this time we're talking about ladybugs. So I'm going to write the word ladybug on top. You could draw a picture of a ladybug instead. That would be really cool too. I'm going to split it in half. And up here I'll draw what I already know about ladybugs. and down here what I learned in the research. So what I already knew about ladybugs was that they have a red back with black spots. So I'm going to draw a red circle, color it in red, and then I'll draw some black circles inside for the dots, just like a ladybug. That's what I already knew about ladybugs. Just like that. And I'll write the word spots under it. And then what I learned about ladybugs during my research was that in the winter time, they like to go to sleep. So I'm going to draw a picture of a snowflake by drawing a star shape like that. And then I'll draw the letter Z's. And when you see three letter Z's like this, that usually means sleep. So they hibernate in the winter. I'll write the word sleep. So I'll use this to help me remember about my research when I play my pretend ladybug game. Alright, I made it to my backyard after all that research, and I'm ready to pretend to be different kinds of bugs. So I'm going to use my bug journal and what we wrote inside of it to help me remember what we learned during the research. So the first bug I'm going to pretend to be is the beetle. And what we already knew about beetles was that they have those claws in front of their mouth. So I need to find something to pretend to be a claw for a beetle. And we also learned that they like to eat fruit. So I'm going to pretend to look for fruit in my backyard. For the claws, I could use my fingers kind of like this. But I thought it would be fun to find something that I could pretend and actually use to pick things up with. And I had an idea. I'm going to use these spoons. And if I put them up to my cheeks like this, and I open and close them, they're kind of like the claw in front of a beetle's mouth. So I'm going to look for fruit in my backyard now. I'm looking for fruit. Let's see if I find some. Ooh, I found some, look. I put some real blueberries that I got at a grocery store inside of this glass jar and put it here. Now I'm going to use my claws to try and pick it up, just like a chopstick. Oh, I dropped it. Let's try to get a bigger one. There we go. Ah, I dropped it again. I'm going to try one more time. There we go. Oh, how about like that? Perfect. Now I've got a blueberry and I can munch on it like this. Okay, that was a really fun way to pretend to be a beetle. Now I'm going to pretend to be a dragonfly. And what we learned in our research was that the dragonflies use their wings to fly really fast. So I definitely want to pretend that I'm flapping my wings and flying around really fast. And we also learned that dragonflies like to eat other bugs. That's way different than beetles that like to eat fruit instead. So I'm going to fly around in my pretend dragonfly game, but I'm also going to use some pretend bugs and hide them around my backyard. And I'm going to pretend that I'm going to fly around and look for all the bugs to munch on. I've got to look for good hiding spots for these bugs. Let's see. I think I'll put one right in this tree right here. And let's see. We got to find some more hiding spots. When I'm looking for hiding spots, I'm looking for places that make the bugs look camouflaged or hidden. Maybe right here as well would be a good spot for a bug. And let's see. I'll try putting one up high too. Maybe over here. Yes. Let's see, a bug hidden right there. There we go. Now I can pretend to be a dragonfly and fly all around the backyard and look for bugs to eat. Okay, I found all the bugs, and now I get to eat them up, just like a dragonfly would. That dragonfly game turned into a hide-and-seek game with bugs really quickly. That would be a really fun way to play at home if you have somebody else that you can play with too. Somebody could hide the bugs, and another person could pretend to be the dragonfly looking for bugs. When we research, we can create really cool ideas that can help us think of really fun ways to play and to learn. So the next bug that I wanted to pretend to be is the cricket. And what we already knew about crickets was that they make that loud chirping sound. We drew the person here and circled the ear to help us remember that the crickets make a chirp sound. And we also remember that crickets like to hop. They have wings, but they don't usually fly very much. They prefer to hop in between different trees. So I'm going to pretend to be a cricket by making a chirping sound, and instead of flying around like a dragonfly, I'm going to try to hop in between different trees. In my backyard, I have these tree stumps right here, and these are great to play with because, even for a grown-up like me, you can stand on them just like that. If you have tree stumps in your play area, you can use them just like I am. But if you don't have tree stumps, or even if you're playing this game indoors, get really creative with different things that you have. Maybe you could cut out some circles and put them on the ground and pretend that those are different trees that you can hop to like a grasshopper. So just like a grasshopper, I'm going to hop in between all the tree stumps while making lots of chirping noises, just like a real cricket would. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Chirp, 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 chirp. Ooh, it was tricky to balance on those trees, but I could have kept hopping forever. That was so much fun. But I wanted to make sure we had enough time to get to our very last bug that we were going to pretend to be, and that is the ladybug. What we already knew about the ladybug was that it had a red back with black spots on it, and what we learned is that the ladybug actually hibernates during the winter time. It goes to sleep and waits for the weather to get warmer. So I'm going to play a game where I'm pretending to be a ladybug, and I need to find somewhere to hibernate for the winter. And in order to be a ladybug, I'm going to use some dress-up clothes in order to better pretend to be a ladybug. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. I said I was going to use some dress-up clothes, but I don't really have a ladybug costume. Instead, I have a red shirt, and if I put some spots on the back, then I can use that to pretend to be a ladybug. Now, to make the spots, you can just cut out some circles of black construction paper. But if you're like me, you might not have any black construction paper at home. But that's not going to stop us from playing just because we don't have exactly the material we need. We're just going to find a different solution to have a black spot. So I do have white paper at my house, and I'm going to cut it into a circle just like this. And then I can use a black marker to color in that circle so that it's a black spot, just like a ladybug. I'm going to use some tape and put it on the back of my shirt. Now, if I think of a ladybug, it's only red with black spots on the back, not the front. So I'm only going to put the black spots on the back of my shirt. There we go. I taped one black spot to my shirt. So now I'm just going to tape a few more, and then I've got my dress-up clothes I need in order to pretend to be a ladybug. Alright, I've got my pretend ladybug shirt that I made right here, and now I'm going to put it on and find somewhere to go to sleep for the winter. Looking pretty good, huh? I'm going to put on my red hat too, because the ladybug has the red back, so it matches. So now I'm going to look around for somewhere in my backyard where I can go to sleep and hibernate for the winter. I think I see a good spot right over here. Let's take a look. Crawling around, I'm looking for a good spot. How about right here? This might be a good space for a ladybug. There's lots of protection from the rain in case it rained or snowed during the winter. It looks like you could use the leaves as a blanket to help you stay warm. And there's a nice brick wall in my backyard here that will help protect from any wind coming through or any predators that might want to look for a tasty ladybug snack. So I think this is where I'm going to crawl up and pretend to go to sleep for the winter. Is it wake-up time yet? No, I can't wake up until the springtime. So I'll see you in the spring. Bye-bye. Okay, I think it's finally wake-up time for that ladybug. Friends, I really enjoyed pretending to be different kinds of insects with you today. It was fun not only to think about things that we already know about bugs, but to use research to learn something new, and then to use what we learn in our pretend games. So I encourage you to use research in the pretend games that you're playing at home as well. We're giving you lots of new information about bugs through the videos and resources we're sending to you during our bug camp. But you don't just have to research about bugs and play pretend games about bugs. You can do research about anything that you're interested in. If you're interested in outer space or dinosaurs or princes and princesses, you can do research to learn more about those things and use what you learn in your pretend game. I also encourage friends to write down and draw what they learn, even if it's just a couple of scribbles to help you remember. That will really help keep your play strong and make your play last longer as well. So if you do anything really exciting with research and bugs in your pretend games at home, please send a picture or tell us about what you're doing via email to the children's school. We would really love to see what you're doing at home. So friends, thank you for playing with me today, and families, as always, thank you for everything that you do. We will see you next week in our bug camp, and I hope you have lots of fun playing all throughout this week. Bye, everybody.